Waterloo is a fantastic area for real estate investment, and it's grabbing a lot of attention from investors all over the country. But, and this is a big but, if you're looking to operate a rental property here, there is one crucial piece of local law that you absolutely have to master, the Residential Rental Housing Bylaw. So if you're thinking about investing here, this is the one piece of paperwork you just can't afford to get wrong. Let's break down exactly what that means for you.
So, if you're a professional investor or a landlord, look, this isn't just another bit of red tape. Getting a handle on this bylaw is absolutely fundamental to your success and, frankly, your ability to legally operate in the city. The real question is, are you prepared to navigate it? Let's make sure you are.
All right, here's how we're going to tackle this. We'll start with the big one, the mandatory license itself. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty, the difference between long-term and short-term rentals, how to navigate the different license classes, and we'll run through the essential document checklist you're going to need. Finally, we'll cover what it takes to stay compliant year after year, and, of course, how to manage all this complexity like a pro.
Okay, first things first. Let's be crystal clear about this. This is not optional. In the city of Waterloo, getting a rental license isn't just a good idea, it is the absolute legal foundation of your entire investment.
That's right, all of them. We're talking single detached homes, duplexes, triplexes, townhouses, even basement apartments. Basically, if the building is under 3 stories high and you're collecting rent, the city requires you to have a license for it. The rule is that simple.
And don't even think the city isn't serious about this. The penalties for not complying are steep. We're talking fines that can jump to $50,000 for a first offense for an individual, and double that, $100,000 for a corporation. And if that's not enough, a court can literally order your property to be closed for up to 2 years. The financial risk is just way too high to ignore.
Okay, so you get it. You need a license. The next question is, what kind? Well, the first big fork in the road depends entirely on how long your tenants are staying.
On the surface, this distinction seems pretty straightforward, right? A long-term rental is for more than 30 days in a row. Think your standard 1-year lease. A short-term rental, like an Airbnb, is for 30 consecutive days or less. Easy enough. But this simple difference leads to one huge rule that catches so many investors by surprise.
And this, right here, is the game changer that trips up a lot of out-of-town investors. In Waterloo, you cannot, I repeat, cannot operate a short-term rental unless it is your principal residence. So if you're an investor who doesn't live at the property, the entire short-term rental market, it's off limits to you. This is a crucial detail that has to shape your entire investment strategy from day one.
So, assuming you're focused on long-term rentals, which for most investors is the only path forward, we get to the next part of the maze, the license classes. You still have to get the right category for your property.
Class A is pretty much the workhorse for most investors. If you own a property, you don't live in it, and it has 4 or fewer bedrooms, well, this is almost certainly the license you're going to be applying for. It's the most common one out there.
Now remember that owner-occupied rule we just talked about? Well, here it is again. The Class B license covers 2 different scenarios: any long-term rental where the owner actually lives on site, and all short-term rentals. You see how the bylaw legally connects the entire short-term rental business directly to people who live in their properties?
And finally, there's Class C. This one's a bit more specialized. It's for those larger-scale operations, like a lodging or boarding house, usually with 5 or more bedrooms where tenants are sharing facilities like kitchens and bathrooms. It comes with a whole other set of rules to follow.
Okay, deep breath. You've figured out your rental type. You know which class you need. Now comes the fun part, the paperwork. And let me tell you, the list of documents you need to pull together is, well, it's extensive.
This is way more than just filling out a form. Of course you need your deed. You also need professionally drawn floor plans for every single level and a detailed parking plan. But here's the really critical part. You also need recent inspection reports for the electrical and gas systems, which means you have to hire and coordinate with licensed pros. And on top of all that, you need a police record check.
And that police check, yeah, it's more involved than it sounds, especially if you invest through a corporation. A police record check is needed for every single person on the title. If it's a corporation, that means one for all the directors, all the officers, and any shareholder who owns more than a 30% stake, and they all have to be recent, from within the last 12 months.
And of course, you've got to pay to play. To put a real number on it, the first-time application fee for a pretty standard 4-bedroom Class A unit is going to set you back just over $600. It's another cost you have to factor into your initial numbers.
So you might be thinking, shoo, got the license, I'm done. Well, not so fast. Getting the license is really just the first hurdle. Staying compliant is an ongoing commitment. The work does not stop once you're approved. The city uses this staggered renewal system that's based on the property's street name. Now, if you have one property, okay, maybe not a huge deal. But what if you own a portfolio of properties on different streets? Suddenly, you're juggling multiple different renewal deadlines all year long, which really adds a layer of complexity to your operations.
And that pile of documents, it doesn't go away. Every single year, you have to submit an updated insurance declaration and a brand new gas appliance inspection report. Then, on a 5-year cycle, you're back to getting new police record checks for everyone and another updated electrical system inspection. It's a continuous loop of paperwork you have to stay on top of.
Clearly, this is a lot. Navigating this bylaw isn't something you can just do passively. It takes real diligence, organization, and a ton of preparation. For a serious investor, managing this process efficiently isn't just a nice to have, it is absolutely key to your profitability.
You know, there's this great quote that just perfectly captures the situation here. Success in the Waterloo rental market isn't just about finding the right property, it's about doing all that critical homework upfront to master the rules before you even sign the deal.
And this is where having an expert guide in your corner is a total game changer. Instead of trying to piece this all together yourself, an experienced professional can help you build a personalized strategy. Someone with years of local experience already understands these hurdles, the paperwork, the deadlines, the inspections, and they can make sure the entire process is transparent and streamlined from day one.
So here's the bottom line. If you're an investor who values preparedness and wants to avoid the costly mistakes this complex bylaw can cause, the most logical next step is to work with someone who has already mastered it. An agent like Terry Riddoch specializes in guiding investors through these exact types of regulatory challenges, turning a potential nightmare into a smooth, successful transaction.
With over 17 years in the field, Terry has a proven track record of helping clients navigate both buying and selling with real care and diligence. If you are serious about investing in Waterloo, reaching out to an expert like him isn't just a good idea, it's a strategic move to protect and grow your capital. So I'll leave you with this question. Do you have a plan in place to navigate this bylaw for your next acquisition?